What's up, YouTube? This is Tuba for TV. Well, it was earlier this year. I think it was in June. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in June. It might have been in May. When we lost Jerry West, one of the greatest players, in my opinion, one of the top 15 to 20 players ever played this game. And one of the sad sub-chapters of his career was the disrespect that the Jenny Buss era Lakers showed him. We all know how he was basically ostracized and then exiled from the Lakers. And it had a lot to do with the fact that he didn't get along with Phil Jackson. But because Phil Jackson was dating initially the boss's daughter, who ultimately became the boss herself, that set Jerry West up to be completely removed from the Lakers organization and disrespected in a way in subsequent years until he passed away, to the point where reportedly he said that he wished he had never played and worked for the franchise. So a new report from ESPN's Baxter Holmes details Jerry West's strained relationship with the Lakers during the final years of his life. The only three-time Hall of Famer in basketball history. By that I mean he was a Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken, as an executive, as a player, and I believe as a member of the 1960 Olympic championship, Olympic gold medal winning team, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's why he was three times on the Hall of Fame. But anyway, Jerry West helped the Lakers win one championship as a player, their first championship in Los Angeles back in 1972 after the Minneapolis Lakers titles in the 50s under George Michael, 6 as an executive, which includes architecting two dynasties across 3 decades, the Showtime Lakers of the 80s and the Kobe Shaq Lakers of the early 2000s. One would assume a person who contributed as much as he did would surely be cherished by the purple and gold. Yet, West reportedly saw his relationship with the Lakers worsen after he helped the Clippers, whom he worked with as an assistant, recruit Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in 2019. Shortly after he helped the Lakers' crosstown rivals, his son, Ryan West, who was the Lakers' director of player personnel, parted ways with the organization. According to Holmes, West felt his son became collateral damage for his actions. West told Holmes in 2020 as he contemplated retirement, "I almost wished I had never played or worked for them." At the time of the interview, West was reeling from the death of Kobe Bryant and felt strong resentment towards the Lakers for reportedly firing his son. The Lakers also reportedly took away West's 4 lifetime season tickets that were promised to him by Dr. Jerry Buss. Those were always Jerry's seats, a longtime ex-staffer Laker told ESPN. Buss always wanted to make sure Jerry was taken care of. The report added that some of the fractures in West's relationship with the Lakers began when they hired Phil Jackson as head coach back in 1999. West departed for the Grizzlies in 2002. However, the situation became irreparable in 2019. It's like a soap opera. A former longtime Lakers executive told Holmes, "There is a fallout, which is hurtful. Ryan, to me, it looks like he paid the price for all this pettiness." Look, what this article isn't mentioning is what my problem is with the media. And look, people say, "Oh, you always make things about race." I don't make it about race. These articles force you to point certain things out. Why the fuck didn't they mention why the acrimony started with Phil Jackson? Why don't you mention that Jenny Buss was dating him? And since Jerry West didn't like Phil Jackson, and Phil Jackson was the head coach, Phil used his leverage as head coach, plus being the boss's daughter, plus Jenny Buss had her influence to help cause a strain in relationship between Jerry Buss to a certain extent and Jerry West. But it really escalated as Dr. Jerry Buss began to become more seriously ill, I think after 2010. And subsequently, Jenny Buss and the sons had more control than ultimately Jenny Buss. And then she used her pettiness to punish Jerry West, taking away his lifetime tickets, taking away his access to the organization. And ultimately, remember this, she came out with this disgusting most important Lakers list a few years ago. Lakers legend Jerry West not happy after Jenny Buss's snub. Remember, she came out with this top 5 most important Lakers list. And I'm trying to remember who was on this damn list. But Jerry West was not on it. She had Kareem, Kobe, Magic, Phil, and fucking LeBron James in 2021. LeBron had only been with the franchise at that point for 3 years. Jerry West had been affiliated with the Lakers at that time for over 60 goddamn years. He played hurt. He played injured. The man averaged over 27 points per game over 14 seasons as a Laker. 29 points per game in the playoffs. Set a playoff record that still stands for the highest scoring average in a playoff series. Back in 1965, he averaged over 46 points per game against the then Baltimore Bullets in a playoff series. He took that Lakers team to 8 NBA Finals in 14 seasons. Unfortunately, for the most part, he was running into Bill Russell's dynasty Celtics. Ultimately won a championship in 1972, retired in 1974, was head coach for a few years, but where he really did his best work was as an executive, as general manager. This is the guy who, if I remember correctly, made the trade, which wound up being part of their trade, the pick that ultimately landed them James Worthy. He was the guy who ultimately signed a lot of those and suggested that they get a lot of those great additional signings in the 80s. I think he's the one that got Bob McAdoo. He's the one that got Michael Thompson. He's the one in 1996 that went against the grain. I remember because I was alive then. He traded away Laker fan favorite Vlade Divac for a young, unheard of Kobe Bean Bryant. It was very unpopular at that time. Ain't unpopular now, is it? He did that. He's the one that got Shaquille O'Neal and finagled him from the Orlando stupid-ass Magic in 1996. He's the one that was the architect of the three-peat of the early 2000s. He's the one that gave the Lakers a parting gift. Well, I shouldn't say parting gift, but gave the Lakers Pau Gasol essentially for nothing from Memphis so they could win 2 more titles. And then, not to mention, this is a guy that was a perennial all-star as a player, won multiple Executive of the Year awards, including as a Laker, pull off coup after coup after coup as a member of the Lakers as far as being a general manager. And then you don't have him as one of the 5 most important Lakers. In my opinion, he was one of the most important Lakers. He was the most important Laker, excuse me. But to have fucking LeBron James over Jerry West, you are a disgrace, Jenny Buss. A disgrace. Okay? You are a joke. You don't know how much of a joke of a franchise the Lakers have been since he took over. In the last, if I'm not mistaken, the last 12 years, the Lakers have a lower win percentage than the Charlotte Bobcats. This is the same franchise that over a 70-year period earlier only missed the playoffs 5 times. You're a joke. And the franchise has become a joke because you sold out for the money. You sold out the franchise for LeBron, Lamone, Shames, James. You sold Laker fans out. That's why there's so many Laker fans that have completely they've just tuned out the Lakers. They're a disgrace. They're a running Bonham and Bailey circus disgrace. And now you waste a draft pick because this guy want to fulfill some Family Matters goddamn fantasy of his. I just saw Ticket TV's video. This guy has the worst plus or minus of any starting player so far in the NBA in the preseason. They're making a mockery of basketball, a disgrace. LeBron James, Jenny Buss, a disgrace. And what they did to Jerry West is an unforgivable impasse that will not be forgotten. Unforgivable. I feel sorry for Laker fans. And to do that to his son out of spite, I'm going to be honest to you. I'm going to say something that I think most people in basketball think, but they don't want to say. Jenny Buss is a failure as an owner. She has that one bubble title, but for the most part, the Lakers are a disgrace. And most of the owners don't really respect her. I could go even dirtier with it, but I'm not going to do that because this is YouTube. They don't really respect her. And she gets so many passes because of her gender. And I'm being honest. Michael Jordan, the ultimate winner in NBA history, one of the ultimate winners, I should say, got so much flack because he didn't produce so many winning seasons. But they didn't have all-star power like the Lakers. What's the Lakers' excuse? You got 2 Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers, on the roster, and you got another guy who is a fringe perennial all-star in D'Lo, a fake Hall of Famer and all-star, a fake all-star, I should say, in Austin Reeves. What's the Lakers' excuse for sucking every year? You get every goddamn advantage. You get all these non-calls. LeBron's going around traveling and committing offensive fouls and never called. You get all these extra free throws, these benefit of the doubt free throw calls, and you still can't make the playoffs by the benefit of a play-in tournament. If there was a such thing as a play-in tournament Michael Jordan played, he would never miss the playoffs. Both years with the Wizards, he went to playoffs. But anyway, I'm just disgusted by this whole matter, man. May Jerry West find the peace in the afterlife that he couldn't find in the last few years of his life. That's a disgrace what they did.